of Forum, Beyond the Pages, a podcast that tells the stories behind the stories of Florida Humanities award-winning magazine. I'm Andrew Quintana. We're looking into the many phases of Florida's communities this season as we speak to the writers featured in our fall 2024 issue of Forum. This week, writer Charlie Hailey on his story on Marjorie's Porch. We're going to try something a little different over the course of the next few episodes. As part of our sense of place theme for this current issue of Forum, we asked several writers to give us short, personal stories about their favorite places in Florida. So instead of asking them about their essays, we had the writers tell us about their favorite places from the heart. Charlie Hailey is an architectural professor at the University of Florida who is fascinated by porches, the part of a home where the outside and inside worlds collide peacefully. He first came across this unique space during a visit to probably one of the most iconic porches of Florida, that of the late Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings, author of the Pulitzer Prize-winning book, The Yearling. As Hailey tells us, one particular morning on Rawlings' porch in Cross Creek inspired his essay.
So I had always been inspired by Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings' work. I found I guess you'd say a fellow traveler in my interest in writing, but also my architectural interests and interests in place. And Rawlings is certainly, I think, an author who captures those wonderful or sense of wonder in places, particularly those that we're familiar with and some that we're not familiar with here in Florida. So kind of rediscovering her work after I moved down to Florida, I guess it's been a few decades now, and actually having lived in Florida off and on for 3 or 4 decades, it was really a joy to discover the porch that she had written some of her works on and spent a lot of time writing some of those pieces. I love the process of arriving to Cross Creek and Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings' house there. You park your car and you open that metal gate, and you really feel like not just that you're going back in time, but you're entering a really special place that holds a lot of the wonderful aspects of Florida. And then it's a process of sort of walking through the landscape, through the remnants of the orange grove, and then finally catching sight of the house itself. Sometimes entering as a visitor would have through the front porch, and times that I've been afforded that really wonderful opportunity to sit on the porch and spend some time there in some of the off hours in order to write and reflect on her work, entering through the side porches and back porches. My first visits to her house were really as an architect who's interested in vernacular architecture, landscapes, and writing about landscapes. And then my visits, I guess in the past 10 years or so, were really more focused on the porch itself. Porches have always intrigued me as places where inside and outside meet, places where hosts and guests meet, places that allow you a very unique connection to nature and the environment. This particular porch, because of its history and also because of its design and its placement, allowed that inspiration to really take off. Those early visits really set up an important foundation for the book project. Knowing about Rawlings' writing and her connection to the place, and then also really taking a close look at how the porch was built, how it's situated, how it connects to trees and animals and nature, and also learning more about the backstory of the porch. The fact that Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings, initially she was very underwhelmed by the smaller porch that preceded it, and the idea that she used some of the funds from publication, I believe it was from The Yearling, that allowed her to expand that porch. She initially called the porch an excrescence, just really a small attachment to the original house. And it was something that she intentionally expanded so that she could spend more time on that edge of her house. one of the ideas behind this short piece was to try to capture not only the situation of the porch, but also that moment. And it was a relatively fleeting moment, this particular visit. It was a winter morning. One of the things I tried to do in the writing was to try to capture those sensibilities, capture that feeling, capture the details, capture the things that I saw and felt and that the porch really allowed for, so that the piece actually is meant to be paced at the same time that you are sitting on the porch. So the time it takes you to read that piece is meant to convey the time that you would be sitting, or that I was sitting on the porch. Really a very short duration of time, but getting a sense of all the things that can happen. Many of them, we might say, mundane or very small, but when we look at them in detail, I think they're very impactful and inspirational.
That was Charlie Hailey on his story on Marjorie's Porch. Forum Beyond the Pages is produced by Florida Humanities. Our music was created by Tampa Bay area musician JJ Padishall. You can follow him on Instagram at JJ Padishall Music. Want to get the latest issue of Forum delivered to your door 3 times a year? Become a Florida Humanities member by visiting floridahumanities.org/membership. Until next time.